Remember to give the video a thumbs up, share your insights in the comments, and subscribe to keep up with our newest narratives. I never thought that a simple dinner gathering could alter the core of my cozy existence. At 57, I had found a comfortable cadence in life. Serene mornings spent in the garden, afternoons immersed in historical novels, and tranquil evenings alongside my husband, Mark. After more than 3 decades of marriage, I thought the era of surprises had come to an end for us. How mistaken I was. It began quite simply, a Friday evening meal organized by Mark's longtime associate, Jeff, along with his wife, Allison. Jeff, a man in his late 40s, exuded charisma and wit. His striking silver hair and confident presence commanded attention in any setting. We had been acquainted for several years, our exchanges primarily confined to corporate gatherings. Allison exuded charm as a host, radiating warmth and an effortless elegance. I was captivated by her ability to transform even the most basic meals into memorable occasions. Their residence exuded charm, a suburban colonial adorned with meticulously trimmed hedges and a front porch that invited warmth and hospitality. Upon entering, we were greeted by the gentle strains of jazz wafting from concealed speakers, perfectly mingling with the enticing aroma of garlic roasting and fresh herbs from the kitchen. The dining table was adorned with flickering candles, their warm glow creating gentle, dancing shadows that played across the walls, which were dressed in soothing hues of beige and pale blue. The warm atmosphere instantly made me feel comfortable. "Step right in, Melanie." "I'm so glad you made it," Allison said, her voice flowing like the smooth jazz melodies that surrounded us. She welcomed me with open arms, her authentic warmth easing my anxiety. "Thank you, Allison," I responded, a wide smile on my face. "The aroma in this space is absolutely delightful." As the 4 of us gathered around the dinner table, Jeff poured wine, his rich voice leading us through amusing stories from his recent travels overseas. The dialogue unfolded effortlessly, with laughter arising naturally. Mark was in high spirits, clearly relishing the chance to relax away from the pressures of his demanding job. As the dessert was presented, a divine chocolate mousse adorned with raspberries, Jeff's gaze met mine. "Melanie, I learned from Mark that you possess remarkable skills in gardening. I would appreciate some advice. My roses are not flourishing as I had hoped." I chuckled softly, feeling a warm sense of pride from his recognition. "I wouldn't describe it as talent, Jeff, just perseverance. I'd be glad to review it." "Excellent. Maybe later this evening?" His gaze held for a moment, and a gentle heat rose to my cheeks. I dismissed the feeling, certain it was just a figment of my imagination. Following dessert, Jeff led me through a sliding door onto a generous patio illuminated by gentle moonlight. The evening breeze caressed the air softly, intertwining with the delicate scent of jasmine blooms wafting from Allison's garden beds. Mark and Allison stayed indoors, fully absorbed in their discussion about potential vacation spots. Jeff guided me to a line of roses, their beauty challenged by the soft glow of outdoor lights above. He crouched low, studying the leaves intently, and gestured for me to come closer. "Notice how the edges are becoming yellow?" Jeff inquired, his voice now gentle, imbued with a sense of authentic curiosity. I inched nearer, suddenly conscious of how close we were. One heartbeat raced unexpectedly. "It seems they could benefit from additional nitrogen," I suggested, working to maintain a calm tone. Jeff faced me, his demeanor a blend of seriousness and warmth. "Melanie, I can't help but admire the connection you and Mark share. After 2 decades of marriage, it feels like Allison and I have grown distant from one another." His unexpected candor took me by surprise. "Every marriage experiences its share of highs and lows, Jeff. It's perfectly fine." He nodded with a contemplative air. "Perhaps it is. However, recently, I sense that something is lacking." The fragility in his gaze struck a profound chord. Just as I was about to reply, his hand grazed softly against mine. The fleeting, pure touch ignited a spark within me, flooding my senses with a blend of remorse and unforeseen thrill that surged through my body. Apologies slipped from Jeff's lips as he instinctively recoiled, a true sense of embarrassment coloring his tone. I never intended to overstep my bounds. My thoughts wavered, feelings in a tumultuous dance. My first impulse was to withdraw, yet a more profound urge drove me to extend compassion instead. "It's perfectly fine," I murmured softly, catching myself off guard. "You're simply expressing the truth." Jeff lifted his gaze, a sense of appreciation warming his striking visage. We embraced a serene pause, recognizing the underlying tension softly yet undeniably. I experienced a profound sense of recognition that had eluded me for years, even if I couldn't quite grasp it at that moment. Stepping back indoors felt like a dream. Mark's well-known smile offered comfort, yet it bore an unfamiliar heaviness that eluded my understanding. I caught sight of Jeff on the other side of the room, observing how he had withdrawn into his own thoughts, keeping a courteous distance. The evening wrapped up on a pleasant note, yet my thoughts lingered, ensnared in the intricate web of the events that had just unfolded. Later that night, as Mark slept soundly beside me, I found myself gazing at the ceiling, my heart restless with unanswered questions. Was my response merely a reaction to unexpected admiration, or had Jeff stirred something long hidden within me? Could a fleeting moment of connection genuinely disturb the peace I had treasured for years? A wave of discomfort and curiosity washed over me as I recognized that our once pleasant and predictable life now seemed somehow incomplete. Amidst the chaos, I felt a profound awakening, akin to a tender bud unfurling to greet the dawn, delicate yet unmistakably vibrant. Unbeknownst to me at the time, this unforeseen evening marked the inception of a journey into self-discovery, a route brightened by delicate moments, lingering gazes, and the silent bond that Jeff and I had begun to forge. What lay ahead would test every limit we had meticulously established, compelling us both to face realities we had long evaded. And you won't imagine what unfolded next. In the days that followed that unforgettable dinner, my life seemed to remain outwardly the same. Yet beneath the comforting rhythms, morning strolls through the garden, afternoons spent with tea and a good book, and evenings filled with classic films alongside Mark, a subtle disquiet started to grow within me. I often find myself revisiting that moment on the patio, where Jeff's hand lightly grazed mine, accompanied by his surprising confession. Every memory awakened feelings I had almost lost touch with. It had been years since I experienced such a profound sense of being truly seen or desired, even if only for a fleeting moment. Yet, beneath the surge of these emotions, there remained a persistent sense of guilt. Mark was my husband, my eternal companion, and I had cherished him deeply. Yet something about Jeff's vulnerability, his openness, had stirred a long-forgotten corner of my heart. On a bright afternoon, I found myself deep in contemplation next to my cherished lilacs, carefully trimming away the faded blooms. The garden typically served as my refuge, a place of serene quietude and clarity, yet today my thoughts would not find peace. "Melanie, a visitor has arrived for you." From the back porch, Mark's voice broke through the silence. As I turned, a surge of emotion caught in my throat. Jeff stood beside Mark, dressed casually in a blue button-down shirt and jeans, his expression friendly yet measured. My heart raced at once, yet I compelled myself to remain composed, offering him a steady smile in return. "Apologies for the unexpected visit," Jeff said softly, moving closer with care. "I would love to discuss those roses in greater detail. However, if you find yourself occupied, it's perfectly all right." I responded swiftly, feeling my voice reveal a trace of enthusiasm. Mark beamed, blissfully ignorant of the tempest brewing silently between Jeff and me. Mark chuckled as he turned back toward the house, leaving the gardening experts to their work. Jeff and I stood together in quietude, our silence heavy with the weight of unexpressed thoughts. Birds chirped cheerfully around us, unaware of the tension subtly crackling beneath our pleasant facade. At last, Jeff cleared his throat, shattering the quiet tension between us. "Melanie, I wish to express my apologies once more for the other night." He started softly, with genuine emotion woven into each phrase. "I overstepped, and the weight of that mistake has lingered heavily on my conscience." I examined his face intently, observing the authentic regret reflected in his blue eyes. A peculiar sensation gripped my chest, an odd blend of relief and disappointment swirling together inside me. I gently assured him that there was no need for an apology. There was no occurrence. He nodded slowly, moving in closer, his voice just a breath above a whisper. Yet, an event did unfold. We both sensed it. My breath hitched as Jeff's eyes held mine with an intense focus. His voice was gentle yet sincere, with every word meticulously selected. I understand that it's not right, Melanie. He confessed quietly, I've tried to ignore it, but I can't stop thinking about you. It's been ages since I've experienced such a deep connection. A surge of warmth enveloped me, only to be quickly overtaken by a tide of bewilderment. Jeff, I have a spouse. Joyfully united in marriage. Indeed, Jeff replied softly. And the final thing I desire is to disturb your existence. Yet, I felt it was important for you to understand that you stirred something within me. It was an unexpected revelation. For a fleeting instant, a profound silence enveloped us, interrupted solely by the gentle rustling of the leaves above. My heart pounded in my chest, caught in a struggle between my allegiance to Mark and the undeniable attraction to Jeff's sincerity. I turned my gaze, feelings waging a tumultuous war inside me. Your honesty means a lot to me, I finally whispered. Your words resonated with me profoundly. However, we are unable to proceed with this. It lacks fairness for all involved. Jeff let out a deep breath, visibly grappling with his own inner turmoil. He extended his hand with care, enveloping mine softly in his grasp. The warmth enveloped me, a comforting presence, and my fingers instinctively curled tighter around his. He assured me softly that he respected my decision. What I truly desire is your companionship. If that is all we can possess, it suffices. I nodded slowly, yet the fervor in his gaze implied a different story. Friendship, I murmured, gently letting go of his hand. Nothing else. The ensuing weeks unfolded with a subtle unrest. Jeff and I shared sporadic messages regarding gardening advice or light chatter about the weather, ensuring we kept our boundaries intact. Each exchange, no matter how fleeting, quietly deepened our connection. I discovered that I was eagerly awaiting his messages, a mix of excitement and fear coursing through me. One evening, Mark casually noted that Jeff and Allison would be attending a company-sponsored gala event downtown with us. My heart raced at the thought of encountering Jeff once more, this time amidst a bustling crowd where our unspoken tension could become challenging to hide. As night fell, the grand ballroom came to life with gentle melodies, twinkling lights, and elegantly attired couples gliding through the space with poise. Mark led me inside, his hands softly placed on my lower back, offering a sense of comfort while remaining oblivious to the chaos brewing inside me. I noticed Jeff right away from across the room, our eyes locking in an instant, sparking a fire deep in my chest. During dinner, the dialogue unfolded seamlessly among the four of us. Yet beneath the polished laughter and polite exchanges, Jeff and I exchanged brief, stolen glances, each gaze infused with unspoken desire, each subtle smile laden with profound significance. Following dinner, the guests gracefully made their way to the dance floor. Mark, ever the embodiment of chivalry, offered his hand to Allison for a delightful dance. With a courteous chuckle, they mingled with the other couples under the twinkling lights, leaving Jeff and me in solitude. We paused for a moment as Jeff extended his hand, his voice soft and welcoming. Could I? With a flutter of anticipation, I gently slipped my hand into his, letting him lead me onto the dance floor. My heart raced as we started to sway softly, the surroundings fading away until it was just Jeff and me. You look stunning this evening, he murmured, his tone rich with warmth and genuine admiration. A warmth spread across my cheeks, and I could feel my throat constricting with an unforeseen surge of feeling. Jeff, I started gently, feeling the treacherous road we were nearing. We decided to stay friends. He leaned back a bit, gazing intently into my eyes, his look a blend of softness and resolve. The bond we share only enhances my appreciation for your incredible qualities, and my care for you runs deep. We pressed on at a deliberate pace, our intimacy a blend of solace and anguish. My thoughts shouted for restraint, yet every fiber of my being pulled me nearer to this man who grasped my concealed essence. Before I knew it, the song had come to a close. We lingered, locked in each other's eyes, quietly recognizing the fragile line we had stepped over. I mustn't feel this way, I murmured with a tremor in my voice. Still, I find myself unable to resist. Jeff's fingers brushed against my cheek softly, sending a delightful shiver coursing down my spine. I can't either, but we'll honor whatever choice you make. I assure you. I withdrew, burdened by a mix of yearning and doubt, quietly appreciative of his regard while still tormented by the intensity of our shared emotions. Rejoining Mark, I donned a courteous facade, smiling while quietly contemplating how much longer I could suppress the truth unfurling inside me. Unbeknownst to me, the occurrences of this evening would propel our fragile connection into a more formidable trial, an unforeseen revelation that would irrevocably alter the course of our lives. What unfolded next will leave you utterly astonished. Weeks drifted by, each one weaving deeper threads of silent yearning and uncertainty into my soul. I made every effort to stifle my emotions, to hide them under layers of gardening tasks, early strolls, and the familiar rhythm of dinners with Mark. Yet Jeff's words resonated gently within me, awakening aspects of myself I had long overlooked. On a rainy afternoon, while I sifted through old photographs in our snug sitting room, the familiar chime of my phone caught me off guard. My heart raced, recognizing instinctively who it was. Jeff's message was concise but impactful. Melanie, may we have a conversation? I assure you, this is significant. My breath caught in my throat, a blend of unease and eager expectation swirling within me. Following a brief pause, I responded. Absolutely. Where is it? He proposed we gather at a serene coffee shop on the outskirts of town, a place that offered a balance of privacy and public decorum, allowing us to converse without compromising the integrity of our commitments. I consented, my heart racing with doubt, my conscience uneasy yet yearning to grasp his insistence. The cafe exuded warmth and charm, enveloped in the rich aroma of freshly brewed coffee and the gentle murmur of hushed dialogues. Jeff sat at a hidden table in the corner, his hands tightly clasped, eyes reflecting an intensity one had never encountered before. Thank you for meeting with me, he said softly, motioning for me to take a seat. He appeared taut yet profoundly determined, his demeanor solemn. What is it, Jeff? I inquired gently, my anxiety just beneath the surface. Did something occur? He let out a deep sigh, his fingers combing through his silver hair, his eyes reflecting a profound sorrow. Allison is aware. A sudden jolt coursed through me, my heart pounding with anxiety. Is aware? What is it about? We? Jeff gave a slow nod. She felt an unusual presence at the gala. Yesterday, she faced me directly. I was unable to deceive you, Melanie. I shared all my thoughts with her. My emotions, our exchanges, despite the fact that nothing has truly occurred. A frigid dread seized my heart, anxiety swelling within me. Jeff, I find myself at a loss for words. You don't need to say a word, he comforted softly, his eyes filled with a silent urgency. Allison and I reached a consensus on a significant matter. I felt it was important to have an open conversation with you to clarify the next steps. What follows? I spoke softly, a sudden fear gripping me at the thought of losing the tranquil existence I had so diligently safeguarded. Jeff grasped my hand softly, calming my quivering fingers. His touch offered solace even as it deepened my inner chaos. I assured Allison that I would honor any decision you choose to make. Melanie, should you decide to leave, I assure you I will understand. However, if you experience even a fraction of what I feel, then we must confront it with sincerity. His honesty was unmistakable, his openness profoundly touching. Emotion welled up within me as I fought to articulate my thoughts. Jeff, you've unearthed emotions I believed were long forgotten. However, Mark has been my entire world for more than 30 years. He clasped my hand softly, a fire igniting in his gaze. I understand. And I would never request you to compromise that. Can you truly refute the bond we discovered? Shouldn't it be recognized at the very least? My heart throbbed, caught intensely in the struggle between devotion and desire. In my heart, I understood that Jeff had a point. The deep connection we had established, subtly yet profoundly, could not just disappear. We were obligated to be honest with ourselves and our partners. After a lengthy silence, I articulated my thoughts with caution, my voice trembling with sincerity. I cannot ignore the emotions that stir within me. You brought back to my awareness aspects of myself that I had nearly lost touch with. However, the thought of causing Mark pain fills me with dread. I wish to keep him close, while also being mindful of Allison's feelings. Jeff nodded, a profound comprehension reflected in his expression. I share that sentiment. Yet, I hold the conviction that concealing the truth ultimately causes greater pain. Perhaps embracing honesty will guide us all in determining our next steps. We lingered in contemplative quiet, taking in the gravity of his statements. The rain gently tapped on the cafe windows, echoing our serene contemplation. I must speak with Mark, I finally murmured, a mix of relief and fear washing over me with the confession. He is entitled to the truth. Jeff held my hand with a comforting grip, then let it go softly. No matter what unfolds, Melanie, I will stand by your side, whether as a companion or something deeper. I won't rush you, but remember that you're not facing this by yourself. We separated with a silent acknowledgement, feelings intertwined yet distinct. As I navigated the somber, drizzly streets on my way home, I mentally prepared for the conversation that filled me with unease, yet I understood it was unavoidable. Mark was entitled to the truth, regardless of the pain it might bring. That evening, following dinner, as we sat in serene silence in the living room, I gathered my courage to break the stillness. My heart raced wildly, a surge of anxiety swelling inside me. Mark, I need to speak with you, I started softly, my voice revealing my unease. He gently set down his newspaper, his gaze shifting to me with a hint of worry. Is everything okay, Melanie? I inhaled deeply, my heart heavy as I gazed into his familiar, reassuring eyes. Recently, an unexpected event unfolded. There was no physical connection, yet emotionally, I found myself captivated by another person. His expression changed rapidly from bewilderment to a subdued pain. His voice carried a softness, though it was tinged with tension. Jeff. Taken aback by his insight, I nodded slowly, a sense of guilt constricting my heart. Indeed. Mark let out a long breath, his gaze far away but steady. At the gala, I observed the way he gazed at you, and the way you returned his gaze. I never intended for this to unfold, I implored gently, tears streaming down my face. You have been everything to me, Mark. My affection for you knows no bounds. This sensation has stirred something deep within me. A force to be reckoned with. I found it necessary to speak the truth. He regarded me with a contemplative gaze, a subtle melancholy reflected in his eyes. After a brief pause, he extended his hand towards mine with a soft touch, catching me off guard. Your honesty is truly valued, Melanie. You had the option to conceal this from me, yet you chose not to. That is significant. His reply caught me off guard, amplifying the remorse I experienced. Mark, I sincerely apologize. He shook his head, his voice soft but resolute. There's no need to say sorry for simply being yourself. 3 decades is quite an extensive period. Affection evolves. Individuals evolve. I am indeed feeling pain. However, I comprehend. Honesty is something you truly deserve as well. My heart shattered softly, engulfed by his elegance and kindness. I'm feeling a bit lost at the moment. I find myself adrift. Mark grasped my hand softly, exhaling with a sense of weight. Allow yourself a moment. Discover what your heart genuinely desires. Regardless of the circumstances, my wish for you is to find joy. His compassion broke me softly, overwhelming me with thankfulness while intensifying my sorrow. In that moment, I understood that the essence of our connection lay in Mark's steadfast respect for me as an individual. We sat in silence, the soft ticking of the clock serving as a reminder of the fleeting, fragile, and precious nature of our lives. No matter what choices lay ahead, I understood that Mark's kindness had transformed everything, unlocking opportunities one had never dreamed could exist. As the tranquil evening slipped into the gentle embrace of night, I realized that the toughest decisions lay before me. The journey ahead may be unpredictable, yet truth has illuminated the way, guiding one toward genuine self-exploration and development. Yet nothing could have equipped me for what unfolded next, a climactic revelation that would irrevocably change the trajectories of our lives. In the weeks after that candid, emotionally charged discussion with Mark, life assumed an uncanny essence. Every day seemed delicate, hanging in the balance between the solace of what once was and the unpredictability of what lies ahead. Mark and I engaged in a candid conversation about our emotions, anxieties, and aspirations, exploring depths we hadn't touched in years. In an unexpected twist, our honesty brought us closer together, ironically strengthening our connection despite the uncertainty of what lay ahead. Jeff and Allison embarked on a journey toward understanding, opting for counseling to delve into their intricate feelings. Jeff and I decided to keep our distance during this sensitive time, allowing ourselves the freedom to truly contemplate without any pressure or expectations. On a bright afternoon, as I nurtured my garden, the sanctuary that consistently offered me insight, Mark silently came near, carrying 2 cups of tea. He settled next to me, softly offering the steaming mug. "Melanie," he started with caution, his voice calm and soothing. "A great deal of contemplation has occupied my mind lately." I examined his features, perceiving a blend of resilience and fragility in his expression. "Same here." Mark smiled gently, his comforting presence soothing my nerves. "I came to an important realization. Our union is founded on love, intertwined with friendship, respect, and honesty. Perhaps, after all this time, we should create space for one another to seek joy, even if it requires welcoming transformation." Tears welled up in my eyes at his vulnerability. "What are you trying to convey, Mark?" He grasped my hand gently, his expression radiating genuine emotion. "I'm expressing my love in a way that allows you to discover what your heart genuinely seeks. Even if it requires allowing you the freedom to delve into your bond with Jeff. No matter what unfolds, you are worthy of joy." We both share that sentiment. As I sit in my garden, enveloped by the vibrant flowers that dance softly in the warm breeze, I find clarity in the truth of our journey. Life, akin to my garden, demands bravery, perseverance, and a willingness to embrace transformation. Connections transcend mere routine or obligation. They are molded by genuine understanding, kindness, and consideration. At times, what initially appears unattainable guides us to precisely the destination we are destined for. I turned my gaze to the house where Mark converses easily with Jeff and Allison, their laughter floating gently in my direction.